It's been packed for players like Alex Eala, Joao Fonseca, seeing the Filipino fans, the Brazilian.
I mean, you get nervous here and there when it's going, I don't want to say easy, but when the score is in your favor, it's like you have to be cautious, so a little bit nervous, but obviously I'm super happy to be here.
In 60 minutes at the 2026 Miami Open, and within hours, a YouTube title was telling millions of people that Filipino fans made Muchova cry. That title was a lie, but the machinery behind it wasn't random. It was built deliberately, using real footage, real emotions, real moments that had absolutely nothing to do with Alexandra Eala or what happened on the grandstand court on March 23, 2026. And understanding exactly how that fabrication was put together tells you something far more disturbing than a crying Czech player ever could. Let's start with what actually happened inside Hard Rock Stadium, because the reality was already dramatic enough without anyone inventing a single thing. Karolína Muchová, ranked world number 14 and seeded 13th, walked onto the grandstand court against Alexandra Eala, ranked number 29 and seeded 31st. The crowd packed into those stands was overwhelmingly Filipino. Flags, jerseys, chants, the kind of atmosphere you'd expect at a basketball arena in Manila, not a professional tennis venue in Miami. And from the very first game, Muchova made it completely irrelevant. Eala chose to serve first. She was broken immediately, a double fault, then a forehand error. Muchova mixed serve and volley sequences with deep baseline exchanges, racing to 4-0 before Eala could find her footing. The first set ended 6-0. No games won, not a single hold of serve. The second set opened the same way, another early break, another 3-0 lead. And here's the specific detail that rewrites the entire emotional story of this match. Karolína Muchová converted 5 break points, 5 of 5. Alexandra Eala converted 0. The whole thing lasted exactly 60 minutes. This wasn't a close loss that controversy could inflate. It was a clinical dismantling.
She works hard. Yes. That's why we like her, because she's the face of the Philippines.
Just aside from her talent, she's also thinking of the future.
I've only dreamed of making tennis grow in the Philippines, and now I'm bringing a whole new audience to tennis all around the world.
So when Eala plays, we all get together and we all watch her support her as a group of people.
Are there actual gatherings?
Oh yeah,
yes.
Really? Oh yeah.
Okay.
We plan our dinner.
But inside those 60 minutes, something happened that the clickbait titles completely ignored, because it was actually more revealing than anything they fabricated. During the second set, a Filipino fan shouted out of excitement at the exact moment Alexandra Eala was lining up to hit a volley at the net. The noise caused her to miss the shot, and what followed was one of the rarest things you'll ever see from Eala. She turned toward her own fans and delivered a long, severe stare. Not at Muchova, not at the chair umpire, at her own supporters. That stare is the real story. Because Eala herself, back in January 2026 at the Philippine Women's Open, had already put a name to that moment. She called her fanbase a __quote, _0 her words. The overwhelming support softens the emotional blow of any loss, but it also cranks the pressure up because she feels a personal duty to succeed on behalf of every single person who traveled to watch her play. And she wasn't the only one feeling that friction. Alicia Parks, Jasmine Paoli, and Sorana Cirstea had all previously complained directly to chair umpires about the noise coming from Eala's supporters, fans cheering opponents' double faults, shouting mid-rally. Tennis expects silence during points. The expressive team sport fandom shaped by Philippine basketball and boxing culture plays by entirely different rules. The double-sided sword had 2 edges. On March 23, 2026, one of them cut Eala herself.
But the fan stuff is always fun for me, because whenever you see players from smaller countries, the fans are so passionate when they get up to the top.
But this wasn't the end of what the match revealed, because the loss to Muchova didn't just hurt emotionally, it extended one of the most statistically improbable patterns in Eala's professional career, a streak that commentators in the Philippines have started calling the Czech Curse. Eala has not beaten a Czech professional player in either 12 or 13 consecutive matches, depending on which tour tier you include. The list runs deep: Anastasia Zaryka, Gabriela Knudsen, Linda Virtova, Barbara Krejcikova, Marketa Vondrusova, Teresa Martinsova, Katerina Siniakova, Maria Teresa Valentova twice, Linda Noskova at the 2026 Indian Wells Open, and now Karolína Muchová at the 2026 Miami Open. That's not a coincidence. That's a systemic stylistic problem. Czech tennis has historically produced players built on extreme tactical variety, heavy defensive capability, and the ability to disrupt baseline rhythm with slices, drop shots, and well-timed net rushes. Eala's game runs on baseline resilience, long rallies, heavy topspin, physical endurance. Muchová exploited that directly, pulling Eala forward with drop shots, then executing precise volleys before Eala could reset. In her post-match interview, Eala acknowledged that Muchova's level of execution played a massive role in her own inability to perform. No deflection, no excuses, just an honest read of what happened. And that's when things shifted. Because while Eala was giving that composed, honest interview, accounts like Courtside Prospect were already uploading a completely different version of events.
Like, we're not concerned about anyone else right now. It's Alex Eala time. This is Alex Eala's moment. Our days, our dinners, our evenings are fixated on when she's playing. That's real tennis fandom right there. Love it.
$77 a month. Come on, just go get it. I mean, sorry, $77 for the year.
For the year, yeah.
I mean, that's a
month,
better.
come on.
That's a better upgrade than your monthly subscription. You got to go get that.
Have you
77.
ever heard of another player other than their family that planned dinners around one tennis player?
Not
No.
for me, just my family.
No, probably not even my family.
Depends what it was for dinner, but this is so great for tennis in general.
Yeah.
I think having players.
The title read, Filipino fans made Muchová cry after what they did following Eala's loss in Miami Open 2026. A thorough review of verified press materials, post-match media transcripts, and court footage confirms there is absolutely no factual basis for this claim. Karolína Muchová did not cry at the 2026 Miami Open. In her post-match interview, she appeared calm, focused, and answered every question about her tactical game plan with complete composure. Muchová is widely known for her stoicism on court. The crowd didn't reduce her to tears. None of it happened. So where did the imagery come from? Here's the answer. And it's the most important thing to understand about this whole situation. In 2025, Karolína Muchová was present during two separate, highly publicized moments of on-court crying. Neither one involved Alexandra Eala. Neither one involved Filipino fans. But both generated enormous search volume, and both linked Muchova's name to visible tears on a tennis court. The first happened at the 2025 Dubai Championships. British player Emma Raducanu was brought to tears during a match against Muchová. The WTA later clarified that Raducanu's distress was caused by a man in the front rows exhibiting fixated behavior toward her. He was ejected by security. Muchova's response was to cross the entire court and console Raducanu directly. The second came at the 2025 Miami Open, 1 year before the Eala match. Former champion Victoria Azarenka suffered a severe shoulder injury while trailing Muchová 6-0. Azarenka dropped her racket and broke down crying from the physical pain and the heartbreak of having to withdraw. Muchová personally carried Azarenka's bags off the court, so the injured player wouldn't have to strain herself. Those were the two most sportsmanlike moments of Muchova's entire 2025 season.
Gracious to all her fans. She spends time with her fans, signs the autographs, takes the photos, and really just shows the Filipino community that it is all about the Philippines. And I still carry that flag with me no matter where I go across the world. And such a young woman at that has that wisdom of just what it means to play for her country.
Only 20 years old, such maturity, already a hero to her entire nation. I mean, it's basically Manny Pacquiao and Alex Eala, right? I mean,
That's it.
And algorithmic content farms took exactly those moments, the moments that demonstrated Muchova's character, and repurposed them as supposed evidence that she was victimized by a hostile crowd in 2026. The machine didn't just fabricate a lie, it inverted reality. It took the moments that proved who Muchova was and weaponized them against her. Meanwhile, the real consequences of the actual match kept adding up, because professional tennis runs on a rolling 52-week ranking system where points from the previous year have to be defended at the same tournament the following year. Eala had reached the 2025 Miami Open semifinal, banking 390 ranking points. By exiting in the 2026 round of 16, she only collected 120 points for her 3 rounds of play, a net loss of 270 points. Her total dropped from 1,525 to 1,255. Her live ranking fell 16 positions, from her career high of world number 29 all the way down to number 45. The financial picture held steadier. Reaching the round of 16 earned Eala roughly $105,720, about 6.36 million pesos, which goes directly toward funding her coaching staff and travel as she heads into the clay court season. She confirmed she planned to rest for a few days before resuming practice for her scheduled clay debut at the Upper Austria Ladies Linz, set to begin on April 6, 2026. One bad loss, one fabricated title, 270 ranking points gone, and more than 120 million people served algorithmically engineered fiction instead of the truth, because the truth, it turns out, wasn't profitable enough. The accounts generating these titles know exactly what they're doing. Eala represents a sports-obsessed country with a population exceeding 120 million people. Engagement algorithms reward content tied to her name regardless of whether any of it is true. Previous fabrications targeting Eala include claims she signed a $45 million sponsorship deal with Wilson. She actually plays with Babolat, alongside titles like Alex Eala Sparks, $200 million Panic, and he blames Eala after her jersey breaks records. None of it happened. All of it was clicked, all of it was monetized, and the fans who clicked, the same fans who packed the grandstand court with flags and noise and genuine love for their athlete, became the fuel powering the very machine built against her. Karolína Muchová left Miami without tears and without controversy. She advanced to the semifinals where Coco Gauff defeated her 6-1, 6-1. Muchova said nothing about Filipino fans. She cried about nothing. The record is clear. What isn't clear, and what no post-match interview, no press statement, and no ranking calculation has managed to answer, is this: if the double-sided sword keeps cutting both ways, if the fans who travel thousands of miles to support Alexandra Eala keep creating competitive liabilities on one side and algorithmic ammunition for content farms on the other, at what point does the weight of 120 million people stop being a cushion and start being a ceiling?